You know the feeling. It is mid-morning and your cat was here 20 minutes ago on the sofa, in the kitchen, underfoot as you made coffee, and now they are not. Not in the obvious places, not on the bed, not in the sunny spot by the window, not in any of the locations they typically inhabit. You walk through the house, you call their name. Silence. You check under the bed, behind the sofa, inside the wardrobe you definitely left slightly open. Nothing. You go back to whatever you were doing, mildly unsettled, and 2 or 3 hours later, your cat simply reappears from somewhere, from nowhere in particular, without explanation or apology, and proceeds to ask for food as if nothing has happened. Most cat owners have experienced this dozens of times. Most shrug and accept it as a feature of cat ownership. Unpredictable, somewhat mysterious, fundamentally inexplicable. Cats vanish. That is what cats do. But the disappearance is not random. It is not irresponsible wandering. It is not even, in most cases, particularly adventurous. The places your cat goes when they vanish and the reasons they go there follow a set of patterns that are deeply rooted in feline biology, territorial behavior, and the specific requirements of the feline nervous system. And when you understand those patterns, the disappearance stops being mysterious and becomes something else entirely, a window into one of the most fundamental aspects of what it means to be a cat. Today, we are going through exactly where your cat goes when they vanish. Not as a fun mystery, but as a behavioral science, looking at what the disappearance serves, what need it meets, what drive it expresses. And the answers are going to change the way you think about those quiet hours when your cat is somewhere you cannot find them.
Exactly.
The first and more significant answer to where your cat goes is the one most owners dismiss too quickly. They are asleep. Not on the sofa, not on the bed, somewhere else, somewhere specific, chosen, and deliberately hidden from the main traffic of the household. To understand why this matters, you have to understand feline sleep in a way that goes beyond the commonly cited fact that cats sleep between 12 and 16 hours a day. The quantity of sleep is only part of the story. The quality and location of that sleep is where the real behavior lives. Cats are crepuscular predators. Their peak activity periods align with dawn and dusk, the transitional light windows when their vision advantage is greatest and their prey is most active. The long stretches of inactivity that fill the hours between these peaks are not laziness. They are strategic energy conservation, the preservation of the explosive physical capacity that successful hunting requires. A cat who burns energy at full rate all day is a cat who cannot sprint, leap, or sustain a pursuit when the opportunity arises. But here is the critical detail. Deep restorative sleep, the kind that actually restores this capacity, requires a specific environmental condition that cats are extraordinarily precise about meeting. It requires safety, real safety, the kind that the cat's nervous system has assessed as genuine rather than approximate. And in a domestic home, with its irregular sounds, its foot traffic, its unpredictable events, genuinely safe deep sleep does not happen in the middle of the living room floor. The places your cat disappears to for hours are, in almost all cases, spaces that meet the feline criteria for safe sleep. Enclosed or elevated or both, offering good sightlines to the exit or approach, firmly comfortable, low stimulation, and associated with familiar, non-threatening scents. Inside a wardrobe behind a stack of sweaters, on a high shelf in a spare room, in the gap behind a piece of furniture, under a bed in the quietest corner, inside a box in a room nobody uses. Research from the University of Edinburgh's Feline Welfare Studies has documented that cats make highly deliberate, spatially specific choices about sleeping location, choices that reflect their ongoing assessment of environmental safety rather than simple comfort preferences. The disappearing cat is not lost. They are almost certainly in a carefully chosen safe sleep location within your home, doing the restorative biological work that a predatory nervous system requires. Here is the behavior that explains the disappearances that don't involve sleep, the times when your cat vanishes and seems, when they return, to have been active rather than resting. Cats are territorial animals who maintain safety through active environmental monitoring. This monitoring is not passive. It is not simply being aware of the room they happen to be in. It is an active, regular, systematic patrol of the territory they have claimed, conducted with the specific purpose of detecting change, new smells, new sounds, evidence of other animals, signs of structural change in the environment, anything that is altered since the last patrol. In a domestic home, the cat's territory includes every room, every floor, and for cats with outdoor access, every area of the garden or immediate outdoor space that they have incorporated into their territory map. A complete patrol circuit of this territory takes time. The sniffing of each entry point, the checking of each elevated monitoring position, the inspection of the specific corners and transitions that routinely produce interesting scent information, the base of the front door, the edges of windows, the spaces behind and under furniture where small creatures occasionally intrude. This patrol is not performed with anxiety. It is not driven by fear of threat. In a well-adjusted domestic cat, the patrol circuit is more like a daily systems check, the routine confirmation that the territory is intact, the boundaries are secure, and nothing requires attention. It is the feline equivalent of reading through your morning messages to confirm nothing urgent has arrived overnight. What makes this behavior produce the disappearance effect is the spatial distribution of the circuit. Your cat moves through rooms you are not in, spends time in spaces you rarely access, and conducts their monitoring activities with a quiet efficiency that produces no sound and leaves no obvious trace. They are in the spare bedroom, behind the wardrobe, near the window that overlooks the garden. They are in the utility room, checking the gap under the door where interesting smells regularly arrive from outside. They are in the whole cupboard, inspecting the base of the space that borders the outside wall. Dr. John Bradshaw's research on feline ranging behavior has noted that domestic cats regularly spend significant portions of their active time in rooms and spaces that their owners rarely visit, conducting territorial monitoring that is invisible to the household but essential to the cat's sense of security and spatial competence. Your missing cat is, in many cases, doing exactly this, moving through their territory on a circuit you cannot see, in rooms you have no reason to check.
Exactly. I've got so many thoughts on what happened this week.
It really is shifting daily. I mean, did you see the demo they dropped on Tuesday?
Oh, absolutely. It blew my mind. But it also raised some pretty huge questions about how we define art in the first place.
Right, so let's get right into it because we have a lot to unpack today.